Hi, this is Sophie, Simon and Ben from That Final Scene.
Yeah, we just want to give a quick shout out to our friends at Amazon Music where you can find this very podcast.
So, let's dive in, shall we?
Yep. I said it before and I'll say it again.
That scene, that last scene.
What does it mean?
I'm the dude, you know?
Get the fuck out of here!
No, I cannot.
It's over. Go home. That final scene starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first That Final Scene episode of the year. Happy New Year. Happy beginnings, happy endings.
Happy New Year, yeah.
I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Ben and Simon. How are you guys doing?
Yeah,
Cool.
Good. Nice break, feeling relaxed, ready to watch more movies in 2023 and get going again.
Is that a New Year resolution to watch more films?
Just in general, I just want to watch more movies. Yeah, I mean, you're smashing it out of the park with like one every day.
I am on a mission. I don't know, Simon, if you've seen, but that's my kind of ridiculous New Year resolution to watch one film
For
a
the
day.
whole year.
Yes.
My God.
I'm on track so far, but it's only been 7 days. So
What have you watched today?
I'm about to after you guys go.
What are you going to watch?
I don't know. Probably something that's less than 90 minutes because, it's going to be a late night otherwise.
Okay, fair enough.
But I've been trying to play it safe so far. I haven't watched anything too ridiculous except Daddy's Home 2.
Yeah, I saw that on your Instagram. I did not understand why you watched Daddy's Home too.
Yeah, because I was at my sister's and I didn't have time. So I was like, okay, if I want to make it and watch a film, I need to just put
Okay.
something on TV. So that was the only thing that
Yeah.
was playing. And I turned it off after 15 minutes. I couldn't.
Are you allowed to have a repeat?
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
I guess the rule that I've made, like, which is one single rule, like, you have to watch one film a day. It doesn't matter whether it's a documentary or it's a fiction or if I've watched it again.
Do you have a system to pick them through the year?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Just like things that I know I've been, like, I do have a watch list. I am making sure that I
How
keep
big
that
is
in
it?
mind.
The watch list.
Not that big, about 50 films.
That's not going to get you very
Yeah,
far
no,
through
you're
the
going
year.
to need to. You're gonna
Yeah,
gonna
but then
need
you
to
have to take
get a
into
couple more.
account like the new films that are coming out. And I'm actually going to get a limitless card this year from.
Nice.
I have to. I've been postponing it.
I'm
and-
tempted to get one as well.
yeah.
The only problem is they don't do the ones in central London. You don't get those, I don't think.
There's still £1 trillion a minute.
Yeah, there's the like central London fee, which I don't
Oh,
think.
right. I don't think I'm going to pay for that. Like, I think I'm going to
Yeah.
stay local anyway. So, for our UK based listeners, we're going to get the limitless card we're talking about is a card that's been offered by Odeon, which is basically watch as many films as you want for £10 a month, something like that.
Yeah, what you get, like I think I looked at it. If you go to the cinema twice a month, you the card basically pays for itself. I think.
They pay you to turn up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Are there enough good films to watch more than 2 films a month at the Odeon?
Well, that's a very good question.
Well, yes, if you're being, because the thing is, they are playing the lesser known stuff in local cinema, so you're not gonna see, like, After Sun is playing right now, for example, which is supposed to be really good.
I've heard it's
this
good.
isn't playing in central London, but you can find it in Richmond, so you have to just be on the lookout for those.
Did you see that Paul Mescal, who's in his app? Did you watch Normal People, Simon?
I've seen some of it.
Yeah, so the boy from Normal People, he is in After Sun, and apparently has now been cast as the lead in the Gladiator sequel as well.
Oh,
that Ridley Scott's
really?
doing. He'll be playing, the young boy grown up in the Gladiator
Isn't Normal
sequel.
People like desperately sad but full of sex scenes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Desperately sad and desperately horny. I thought Normal People was great, but it
Okay.
ends really abruptly. It ends like a Martin McDonagh film, which ends, and you're like, oh, it's over. Okay. How do I feel about that?
Just a slice of life. See ya.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Tough
Bye.
shit. This is how reality is. And you're like, oh, okay.
Ben, I know you've been busy watching a lot of films.
Yeah, I finally watched the Banshees of Inisherin as soon as it
Same.
came out on Disney Plus, which I thought was great. Have you watched it?
Never heard of it.
It's the guy, you've seen In Bruges?
Yes.
Yeah, so the guy who directed In Bruges and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, it's his new film. And it's Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson.
Your
in
face.
this- yeah, I love it. Play this kind of
Loved it.
like like an odd couple on an island off the west coast of Ireland, but things get very like weird and dramatic. I mean, I'm not giving anything away. If you see the trailer, basically they're these 2 men who've been friends for years, and then one of them decides, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Just wants to cut him out of his life completely
Because you're boring.
because you're boring.
Literally, that's the premise.
So Brendan Gleeson says, I'm going to cut you out of my life because you're boring. I don't want to talk to you anymore. And after a while, he says to him, well, if every time you talk to me, I'm going to cut off one of my fingers. and he's a fiddle player, so that's obviously a huge thing for him.
Man.
And yeah, it's just weird. And again, it's really like Three Billboards where it just ends. It's just the end. There's not like a
climax.
Yeah, there's no climax. There's actually like another, like the story is going to continue on outside of the film, which I quite like. I think that's quite cool.
I loved it.
And I really thought the ending was
yeah.
brilliant. And Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson are both fantastic in it. Like everybody's really good. Barry Keoghan, who I don't necessarily really like, is really good in it as well.
He was really good. And the sister.
Was there anyone not good in it?
No. Well, yeah, it's the best ensemble like in a cast that I've seen all year.
And it looks like, as someone from Ireland who's been to that part of the country, even though it's a very bizarre film, it paints Ireland in a very nice light. Like it makes me kind of be like, oh, I want to go back there on holidays and like, because it's such a lovely part of the country.
I'm actually pretty sure there's gonna be an increase. Like you're gonna see like some tourists like coming out of nowhere because of that film.
It'll be like when they filmed the Star Wars on the west coast of Ireland as well. You'll just have like an influx of people.
Yeah.
So I watched that really randomly. I watched Equilibrium. You know, the Christian Bale,
I watched
weird
it fairly
sci-fi
recently.
movie.
Yep.
An article popped up on Instagram or something about it, talking about how, you know, this kind of like the underrated Christian Bale sci-fi movie. And I was like, oh, I completely forgot about Equilibrium. I hadn't watched it in years. If you don't know it, Simon, basically it's this weird like dystopian future where no one can feel feelings, and if you feel feelings, you die. Ooh. And basically Christian Bale's character which is kind of the synopsis, but it's more interesting than it sounds. And yeah, it's just a good kind of like random kind of action movie from the early noughties.
Yeah, it's one of those films that looks ridiculous, but
my
actually
God,
it does
yeah.
it does have something to say, I think, without giving too much away, but it does look ridiculous.
Yeah, and Christian Bale's really good in it. I watched Detective Pikachu because it was on television. A lot of stuff I just watched because it was on TV and I didn't mind it.
I'm just imagining Ben with his leg over the side of the sofa, just like with his remote, just poking buttons.
Yeah, literally just
on.
flicking around. That's how I ended up watching Shrek 2 as well. Both Indiana Jones films that I watched. I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade, which are always on at Christmas, so ended up flicking around watching them. Get Out I watched because, I mean,
why not?
Get Out's a Christmas movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Why not? 1917 I watched. Skyfall I watched because I have to watch a Bond film at Christmas. Everybody knows. And, which Simon will be happy about, so I rewatched Interstellar for the first time in a few years. I don't know, maybe just because I haven't seen it in a while, or like I'm more mature now. I was like, oh, I have a much greater appreciation for the film. It's still way too long. Like, Jesus Christ, shave 20 minutes off the top.
Did you shed a Bobo tear?
I didn't shed a Bobo tear, but I had a much greater appreciation of it. Like, I was a bit like, having watched Tenet, which is so unexplainably ridiculous, then watching Interstellar, I was like, yeah, okay, I can actually kind of buy into the fucking 5-dimensional shit now, because I know there's a stupider film on the horizon that I might have to watch. And a parallel timeline that I haven't seen Tenet before.
Yeah.
So Ben got engaged over Christmas.
Yeah, and I got engaged. That's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Did you
Congratulations.
did you celebrate with a particular film? What was the film you watched after that?
I think the first film I watched after that was, what was the first film? I mean, I'm trying to look at this list.
You probably treated yourself to a Skyfall after that.
It was either Skyfall or...
Oh, I deserve a bit of Bond for
I
that.
think it might have been Skyfall. I think I might have actually watched Skyfall that night. It probably was, yeah. I think it was. Yeah.
The smug smile on your face.
I know, just being like, haha, in your face, Bond.
And to celebrate on the podcast, our next final scene in our next episode is going to be Bridesmaids.
Yes, that'd be good. Which I can now say this, my fiance really likes Bridesmaids, so she'll be happy that we get to watch that. Yeah, kind of crazy that I can say that.
You can be our naughty hungry bear.
Is there a hungry bear anywhere?
We'll bring a really big sandwich.
Let's do that.
Feed me live on the podcast. But yeah, so I watched a lot over Christmas.
That was going to be my question. Are you sure you haven't been watching one film a day as well?
I think there was a couple of days where I was watching two. I definitely watched I did 1917 and Get Out in the same night, I think, because they were on back to back, which is an intense marathon, especially like considering the end of 1917 straight into Get Out, which is just another like 90 minutes of intensity.
A strange double bill, but I mean...
Very strange. Yeah, but I loved it. I thought it was great. Yeah.
Well, I've been reserving my time for only the highest quality movies.
So this means Mrs. Doubtfire.
Nope. You know when I said I got back from Berlin and I was a bit delicate and I watched License to Kill?
Love it.
Rewatched it with the director's commentary twice.
Ooh.
Was it? John Glenn narrates the whole thing and tells
Amazing.
every caper that went down during the recording.
How was that?
The actor that plays Felix Leiter,
Who gets eaten by the sharks?
who gets eaten by sharks, apologizes for his terrible performance.
Oh my God,
Which
really?
is true. It's the only bad performance in that film because it sounds like he's literally reading his lines off camera.
Yeah.
so
And very
enjoyed
good
that.
Benicio del Toro in that film.
yeah.
He's so good.
Dario. He's got the meanest bad face, I think, of all time.
So good.
Yeah.
And then
Is Dalton in the commentary as well?
No, he's not.
Oh, it's a shame.
Such a shame. I don't think I've ever seen Dalton out of character, actually, in my life.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it.
I'd probably just melt
actually.
if he spoke.
Oh,
He's such a dreamboat.
you just get lost in his eyes.
And then I watched, or I was listening 'cause it was in the car, I put the interview that Louis Theroux has done with Rita Ora on.
Oh yeah.
And because it's an interview, you don't have to watch it, so you can just listen to it like an audio thing. And I discovered that Rita Ora's partner is Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Yep.
They've been
Which I
dating
didn't
for
know.
like a year or two now, I think.
More, yeah. I think they're
Which I was like,
getting
what? So I
Yeah.
then watched, because of that, Boy again, which I hadn't seen for a while. And I really enjoyed it. It's excellent. Not quite up there with Hunt for the Wilder People, but
Tell us more.
it's set in 1984 in New Zealand. And it's this little boy who's like, 10, 11? And his nan, who's bringing him up, and all the other kids in the house, goes away. I think someone in the family dies and she just goes to the funeral. And the kids are just left to fend for themselves. And the little boy, I can't remember what his name is in the film, has these fantasies of his dad, who he's basically estranged from him. I think he's even never met his dad, that he's like a superhero. And he builds his dad up in his head and tells all his friends how amazing his dad is and how strong he is and all that stuff. And then his dad turns up, who's played by Taika Waititi.
Okay.
And he's like a complete loser. He's like basically comes to steal stuff from the family house, and he's up to all kinds of shenanigans. And it's kind of like a story about him bonding with his dad and all that kind of stuff. And it's like very funny and very sad in that way that Taika Waititi does. You know, the way he constructs his own kind of idiosyncratic world and invites you in, and it's just heart-wrenching, but
I hope he goes back to that sort of
Yeah.
writing.
Yeah,
and
I'm hoping
storytelling.
his next film is more Jojo Rabbit than Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
oh yeah, the Jojo, that's good. Yeah, but
Jojo
so have you
Rabbit's
guys not seen
fantastic.
Boy then?
No, I've not seen it. I'll have to
Right.
watch it. I'll add it to the list.
Yeah,
Add it
sounds
to your
good. It
films
does
to watch
bang.
a day. Yeah.
Definitely.
And then the only
Is
other,
it streaming anywhere, or did you rent it?
I can't remember. I might have bought it on Apple TV.
Okay.
I can't remember.
When I think of Taika Waititi, I just go back to What We Do in the Shadows. Every
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Every single time.
Which actually, I don't know if you've watched the Renfield trailer, but that looks crazy.
I haven't.
Yeah, it's Nicholas Hoult from About a Boy is playing Dracula's assistant, Renfield.
Oh, nice.
And Dracula's being played by Nicolas Cage. And the trailer just looks fucking ridiculous.
I love it
looks
already.
crazy.
I always think of Nicholas Hoult in Skins as well.
Yes.
Nicholas Hoult is making a comeback. I just saw him in The Menu.
Yeah, I saw your review of that. Yeah,
It's
I
really
want to
good.
watch it.
Yeah, it's
Is
on
that a
Disney-
film or a TV?
It's a film. Just came out on Disney Plus in the UK. I think it's on
fucking
HBO
Disney
Max in the US. But it's with Anya Taylor-Joy, who I really like, and Ralph Fiennes as well.
Rafe.
Good old Rafe.
Sure.
I prefer Rafe. I don't like to go on about it, but I do prefer Rafe.
It's very satirical. I think you're gonna love it. It's more horror-y, thrillery than I expected. So it has sort of like eerie, creepy vibe, but it basically takes on the food world, like the food culture, the snobism that comes with it, there's faux like influencer experts, because basically the idea, the premise is that the couple, like Nicholas Hoult and Anya Taylor-Joy, they go on a coastal island for an exclusive restaurant experience, and the chef that is waiting for them is not well. That's the idea.
What, in his mind or in just generally sick?
Mentally, just mentally. Like
Okay.
he serves them like he serves them like this lavish, bespoke menu with some challenges and some surprises.
From what I saw from the trailer, I know because you said not to actually. If you, it's good to go in like without seeing anything about it. Unfortunately, I have seen the trailer, and from seeing the trailer, it looks like The Bear, that Netflix show. Did you see that? Is it called The Bear? About the restaurant in Chicago. I think it was called The Bear.
On Disney Plus. Yeah, I've seen
on Disney
it.
Plus.
Yeah.
That crossed with The Purge is kind of what I got from the trailer.
Really? It's not as frantic.
Okay.
Like the menu is more almost, I don't want to say Midsommar because it's not as weird, but it is creepy. and eerie.
Ray Fiennes looks like a kind of a Hannibal Lecter type kind of character.
100%. Yeah. He wants to take revenge, basically, because he's been this stuff for years. Yeah, so well recommend. I wouldn't say I would recommend anything else that I've seen so far except Argentina 1985, but I want to spend some more time on that, so I'm going to go deeper in the next episode. All right. We don't have a community segment for this episode as we're still working out our programming for the year. But
our programming
for the year, we want to sound professional, man. Well, don't worry, it's coming back in the next episode. But I do have something funny and actually kind of creepy to share with you guys. So I know you, Simon, have heard of ChatGPT. Ben, you hadn't.
No idea.
So
I'm not cool enough to know what this is.
No, I don't know.
I'm engaged, guys. I've got bigger things on my plate now. Come on.
That is true. You actually have a life. So,
you've just been in Greece. What are you talking about?
Well, the background on that, very briefly, it's that OpenAI, which I don't want to say it's Elon Musk company, but he does have like a very high affiliation with it. So let's forget about that. They just released
Open.ai. That's how they market it.
That would be how Elon Musk would market it if you gave him the chance. Guarantee you.
That is true. That's the best you can do. They released the most advanced chatbot today, back in November 2022, and it has been picking a lot of traction and traffic ever since. Like more and more people are using it every day. I've heard that actually a lot of students are using it for their assignments, like in the US. So it can produce like thought leadership pieces. Like it's like very advanced. It can develop code. It can create like your personalized workout program. Like it's ridiculous.
Is this actually an AI, or is this what's happened to all those Twitter people that are probably locked in an office somewhere? It's just a lot of graduates who've gone to work at Twitter that Elon's locked in an office that they have to type out like some student's bloody thesis for them.
That's a great question. It supposedly it's AI. I don't know, but I've also heard that Google is very concerned, and they've signaled like code red internally because it can be like an existential crisis for
I think
Google
it'll
search.
define the new way of search. Like it turns anything into like, imagine you've made a load of lists on your phone. Suddenly you can ask it questions about what's within those lists.
Okay.
So it's like turns anything you've got into a little brain.
It is an assistant as well. And I can see how like copywriters can even use it. Like how can you create a summary out of it? Anyway.
Write a better film than Glass Onion.
Whoa. Well, sorry. I did try to ask questions about Glass Onion, but as a disclaimer, it only has quote unquote knowledge up until 2021. So anything past that year, it doesn't really recognize. So anyway, I wanted to try it. So I thought, why don't I ask ChatGPT questions about our podcast and final scenes? Do you guys want to hear how it responded?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, I'm dying to get your reaction. Okay, so here it goes. My first question. Can you generate the podcast intro for the That Final Scene movie podcast?
Okay.
The answer. Sure, here's a possible podcast intro for the That Final Scene movie podcast. Welcome to That Final Scene, the movie podcast that takes a deep dive into the endings of films and their lasting impact on pop culture. Join us as we rewatch and discuss the final scene of some of the most memorable movies of all time, from classic films to modern blockbusters.
Jesus.
Each episode will break down the plot, themes, and significance of the final scene and explore how it ties into the overall message of the film. So grab your popcorn and join us as we explore the final scenes that have left a lasting impression on audiences everywhere.
If we could even approach that
fired.
level of analysis.
God.
We're fired.
Yeah, didn't someone ask us in the questions before Christmas, should filmmakers be worried about AI? I think we should be worried about AI.
Yeah. Screenwriters should be, afraid. You know what? I'm actually quite creeped out by the answer because it doesn't have access to the internet. And it doesn't have any knowledge past 2021. So it didn't pick up any keywords from our website. It literally created that blurb.
Would it be able to have crawled Instagram?
No, it doesn't have access to the internet.
But I thought it was trained on data from the internet.
Yeah, but like that's like we hadn't launched the podcast in.
But your page though.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to do anything with like what we're doing. Like I don't. If you go to my description, like I don't talk about like any of that.
Yeah. So to put that
But I
together.
guess
Like
that is
it's
kind of
episode.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's a good synopsis for the podcast. My God.
It's really good. Like I could literally just.
It's a little serious.
Yes.
It is, but that's the thing. You can, if for example, I could have asked a follow-up question. Can you make it funnier?
I was going
Right.
to say, does it have a humor like in
Just add
like in
LOL.
yeah,
To the end.
like the what is it like the robot in Interstellar? You know, humor function at 70%. Can we put it
Oh,
up
yeah.
to 100?
The one with the weird legs. What's he called?
SAR, something like that. Something TARS.
Little pokey legs
Tars.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one.
Scampers around.
Well, I do have it in front of me, so if you have any questions, we can actually play with it live. But I asked a follow-up question. I said, "Nice work."
Oh, you
Don't compliment the machine, Sophie.
I have to.
Are you polite to your Alexa as well?
Always. I say please and thank you.
I do actually.
I tell my Alexa to shut up all the time, especially if she starts talking randomly during the day.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like-
Imagine if Amazon started doing deliveries based on how polite you were to Alexa.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. You get bonus points that you can like nectar points.
I think that's my naive optimism that it will like me better if I'm
Yeah.
actually being nice. I don't know. What are the best final scenes of all time? I asked ChatGPT.
So this is very like this is opinion based, really.
There are so many great final scenes in
Oh,
film
God.
history. It's difficult to narrow it down to just a few, but here are some that come to mind. Number 1, The Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
It does explain its final scene, but I don't want to go into
Yeah.
it. The Godfather, Titanic,
No.
The Empire Strikes Back,
Yes.
The Departed. It's a really good final scene. So my follow-up question was, okay, what about final scenes from movies that were directed by women? The Silence of the Lambs, which is not directed by women.
No, I didn't think so.
Winter's Bone, Little Women, The Hurt Locker, and Frozen.
American Psycho.
Oh, is it directed by women?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So I was like, the
Hurt
Silence...
Locker, I agree. Hurt Locker,
Yeah,
I agree
it's
with.
really good.
Hurt Locker ending's fantastic.
Yeah, and Little Women's amazing. So I was like, hey, The Silence of the Lambs wasn't directed by a woman. And ChatGPT goes, you are correct. I apologize for the mistake.
Oh my God.
The Silence of the
Imagine
Lambs
if
was
your
directed...
laptop just exploded.
That's so funny. Like, The Silence of the Lambs was directed by Jonathan Demme, not a woman.
That's what it said.
Yeah, thank you for pointing out their error.
That's insane.
Oh my God.
So,
who is Jonathan Demme?
Demme, I haven't... Like,
even know who
Demme
that
with
is.
Demme. Demme?
Demi.
Demi, maybe. And then it gave me a revised list. And then I asked, how can we improve that Final Scene podcast?
Just never
God.
heard it.
Well, it's giving me suggestions.
Yeah.
Here are a few suggestions for ways to improve that Final Scene podcast. Okay, I'm going to read
Fire Ben and Simon.
I'm going to read the headlines, but the suggestions are actually things that we have talked about. 1, offer a diverse range of films. Consider
do that.
featuring final scenes from a wide range of films, including classical films, foreign films, independent films, and films from different genres and time periods. We have been doing that.
We do that, yeah.
2, invite guests.
We do that.
Tried. Yes, to an extent. 3, incorporate interactive elements. We have been doing that.
Yeah.
Could do better.
We could do better.
I mean, this segment is where the community segment should be. So,
exactly.
You know.
But we're chatting with a chatbot in a way, so that's interactive. 4, include behind the scenes stories. Consider
That's
sharing.
why I think the director's commentary watches are important.
There you go.
Because that's where the real action is.
Yeah.
Stories and trivia. Yeah, that's exactly what it's talking about. And 5, edit for length and clarity. I
Oh
think
my
Simon's
God.
gonna feel.
Did you write that answer, Simon?
Can you ask it one for me?
Yeah.
Can you ask it, how can I make my friend Ben like Napoleon Dynamite?
How
Oh, that's
can
a
I
good
make
question,
my
actually.
friend
What will it be?
Ben like
Because
Napoleon
I really don't know if it's going to have an answer for me.
It's not really appropriate to try to change someone's interest or personality.
Yeah, in
No,
your
it's
face,
a bit
Simon.
diplomatic.
Napoleon Dynamite will always be shite.
Instead of trying to make your friend like Napoleon Dynamite, you could try to understand and appreciate his unique interest and personality.
In fairness to Simon, that's a bit of a cop out of an answer.
Simon, it's important to respect people for who they are and let them be themselves. If you want to share your love of Napoleon Dynamite with your friend, you could suggest watching it together or discussing
go.
why you like it. But ultimately,
have a
you should
duvet day,
respect their
Simon.
decision.
We could have a duvet day and
bring
watch
my
Napoleon's
onesie
Island. Yeah. Okay, here's one from me.
Yeah.
This obviously. What is the best James Bond film?
Ooh, that's a tricky one.
And you can't do a cop-out answer.
You can't do a cop-out answer. It's tough to say which James Bond film is the best, as different people have different opinions on the matter. Some of them must... no.
Cop-out answer.
Yeah.
I thought it would have gone like, what the highest grossing is or something, but that's just a bullshit answer.
It's giving me a bullshit
Or like
answer.
the one where there was like a computer bot that went wrong that it could relate to because it was AI.
Yeah, it's giving me a bullshit, like way too many words. Yeah, and basically all of the James Bond
So you
films.
can't really ask it anything that is like opinion based, anything that it can't.
Yeah, it seems
Maybe you
to
can
avoid
train
that.
it. Maybe you
Yeah.
can train it. Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
it does have a disclaimer that that what it's giving you is biased anyway. Because we can train it to be mean, maybe, and opinionated.
Oh, I'd love
I
that.
guess.
An opinionated, snarky robot. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was fun. We should do more of these.
Yeah.
We'll play.
We should maybe get some film synopses out of it or film reviews.
Synopsi.
We will
synopsi
save so
from
much
it.
time. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, cool. We will take a short break and we will be back with Glass Onion.
What's this?
It's a movie.
No!
Oh, I liked it.
No!
Can I say something?
No!
I don't get it.
What don't you get about it?
And we're back with the final scene segment. So the first ending of the year is no other than Glass Onion for us. So Glass Onion is the sequel to Knives Out, both from Rian Johnson. Is that how you
Ryan.
pronounce Ryan?
Ryan Johnson,
Why?
yeah.
Can you?
I don't know.
Where does he come from?
He's American, isn't he? Ryan
Is
Johnson?
he?
Yeah, I
Okay,
think so.
I don't know why his name is written like
Rian.
Rian.
Yeah, Rihanna Johnson.
Okay. And both of them are available on Netflix, produced by Netflix as well. I mean, I think we've all heard how Netflix spent over 400 million to buy Glass Onion, which is ridiculous.
Really? I didn't know that.
Which is probably, I think, because Ben, you kind of talked about it before we started recording, is probably why the ending is like so splashy. It's because he
Yeah.
had a bunch of money he needed to burn.
Just feels like they threw a shitload of money at it, yeah.
Yeah. So the film came out during the holidays and there was a lot of discussion around it, some good, some bad. I would say, and because I know all of us have our individual opinions, most of the discussions have been, like, reactions have been positive, weirdly. I don't know what you guys have seen so far online, but yeah, I want to get your, like, mini, like, reaction review before we get into the final scene.
Do you want me to
No,
go first?
Ben, you can go first.
Will I
Yeah,
go
yeah.
first?
Can you
No.
top this? Casting call for this film be like MILFs and DILFs only. Ends review.
No, I can't beat that. But what I just didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
Compared to
Ben's been so excited to tell us that he didn't enjoy it.
yeah, I really didn't like it. I felt really let down by it. Like there was a lot of it I just thought was really boring. Like you have to watch the film twice. I get that there's a whole point that there's a twist in the middle, but there was just like you could have easily taken 20 minutes out of it. The ending is just fucking stupid. I don't really like the fact that like it's like holding a mirror to society with like this Elon Musk-esque billionaire and a Joe Rogan style like, you know,
It's
Dave
what I-
Bautista and all this kind of like. I don't find that interesting, and it's cliche after cliche
Okay,
after
Ben,
cliche.
does this work for you?
Hit
It's
me.
like the first Knives Out had more jokes and less interesting characters.
Yeah, but the jokes aren't funny. So the summary for the film is that, you know, these 5 people, we have Dave Bautista, who's playing this Joe Rogan-esque character, and his girlfriend called Whiskey. There is Catherine Hahn's character, who is like this governor, who's, you know, very progressive. There's Leslie Odom Jr.'s character, who's a scientist. We have Kate Hudson, who's called Birdie. She's this kind of crazy actress who
So annoying.
is all over the place and just kind of says chaotic things constantly and is constantly being upset about like, yeah, of course, like, oh, why can't I say it? Like that kind of, you know, online thing of, oh, but I didn't mean it that way. And like, you know, you clearly did. And Edward Norton's character, who kind of ties all these people together along with Janelle Monáe. So Janelle Monáe is like the 5th friend. And she worked with Edward Norton back in the day.
And Edward Norton's this Elon Musk type.
Tech billionaire.
Yeah, this tech billionaire isn't like it's Braun. Miles Braun is his name, and yeah, from the start, he's literally being painted as this like boho cool, like Like there's a flashback in the film, and he looks like Tom Cruise from what's that film?
Magnolia.
Magnolia. He is literally. They've dressed him like, I think that is just a reference to Magnolia, isn't it?
That's
he's
what
supposed
Norton
to be.
said, yeah.
Yeah, he's wearing like the burgundy shirt and the leather waistcoat, and he has the hair. And yeah, basically the story is that every year all these friends come together for some extravagant mystery that's been organized by Braun, but there's some tension, and no one knows why Janelle Monáe's character is there. And no one knows why Benoit Blanc, who is this world famous detective, is there either.
Yeah.
And so that's how it starts. We're going to this island. Why is there a detective here? And then it turns out Edward Norton's character has organized a murder mystery. And as it unfolds, they'd all have reasons for killing him, blah, 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 blah. Loads of shite happens. 45 minutes of fucking exposition happens. They go to this island. It's all people just being arseholes. And then Janelle Monáe's character gets shot. Oh my God. She's been shot.
Halfway through
the film.
Wait, that's after Duke dies.
Yeah. So
right?
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Duke dies. So and Duke is Dave Bautista's character. He dies. So he's the first kind of big kill. We all think it's going to be Edward Norton, but it's him. And then everybody runs away. The lights go out because Edward Norton has planned it that, oh my God, the lights go off at midnight type shit. Then it ends up that, Janelle Monáe's character gets shot. And then we rewind and then we have to rewatch the whole film again. Because actually, Janelle Monáe is not Andy. She is Andy's sister, who is actually trying to get vengeance because Andy's really dead. We find out that, Andy's been dead this whole time, but we think it's like a mysterious death and we don't really know what it is. So her sister's out for revenge. And then we have to watch the whole fucking film again as it like winds up to then her being shot.
A small pause here. I actually did enjoy the conversation of Helen and what's his face, Blanc.
Yeah, that was good.
I think that was a good
nice little cameo from Hugh Grant as his boyfriend.
Yeah, and I think Johnson probably tried to, I think he asked himself the question, how do I go back without retelling the film again?
So he asked himself, how do I go back without retelling the film again? And then went back and retold the film again.
Yeah. Yeah. In a weird way, I think that was and we can talk about the ending in a second, but I do think, how in the beginning where they have the puzzle box thing,
yes,
where there is this cameo from that American musician with Yo-Yo Ma, when he's with Kate Hudson, and he drops a kind of musical knowledge about fugue, and how when you put the same note, the same musical
layer, the musical notes on top of one another.
Yeah, it adds it creates something all together. And I feel in a weird way, Johnson was trying to do that with the film. If you think about it, I think that was kind of foreshadowing because you're basically telling the same story, but you have a different angle. And that's basically the premise of Glass Onion, that, you watch it in a different way.
Yeah, you look at it from a different angle, yeah.
I've got a new one for you, Ben.
Hit me.
By Lauren on Letterboxd.
Hit me, Lauren.
She says, Agatha Christie for kids who grew up taking Am I Bisexual quizzes.
Oh my
That's good.
God.
That's good.
But yeah, and so, the whole film then is just we get retold again, but actually we're looking at it from the angle where we know that Janelle Monáe's character is someone different and she's actually trying to find out what's happened to her sister. And then lo and behold, she has been shot because they use the oldest trick in the book where she has her sister's journal in her fucking front pocket. As someone who watched...
Her sister's cigarette box.
Yeah, my cigarillo. It deflected the book.
I thought it was...
deflected.
Come
I mean,
on.
to Johnson's credit, I thought it was going to be a photograph of them too.
Yeah, or a locket with her face in it that's
exactly.
cut in half that Edward Norton has the other half.
The film lost me when they introduced the twin plot twist. Every single time, I can't justify
Identical
any
twins.
twin.
We've got to ban that particular type of plot twist.
Secretive twins are not.
But the film
Secret twins,
really relies so heavily
Secretive
on
ones.
The
are right.
secretive was all right, but secretive as well. You're
it
right.
relies so heavily on tropes like that and just cliched, really cliched characters. And that they were twins and she wasn't dead because she got shot with where. And
But isn't that what it was going for? It was going for that meta knowing, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek.
It's the same
in your
argument you can make
face,
about Don't
who
Look
done
Up.
it?
It was so self-aware, it was ridiculous. You
but I didn't Don't Look Up either.
Yeah, same. And that's what I'm gonna say. I didn't like it either. And it seems like Netflix is buying to the whole tech billionaire, self-aware, humorous type of film. and I think it's for basic audiences. It
Oh,
is.
good Lord.
No, it
Wow,
it
shots
is.
fired.
No, like it does speak to that kind of let's use satire to try to think we're smart, but actually we're not really saying anything.
It's trying to be subversive and different, and actually it's just the same shite, like over
I
and
thought
over
it
again.
looked great. I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
Like,
It was,
great.
I describe it as style over substance.
Yes.
Definitely. And do you know, interestingly, I watched the video of Rian Johnson doing, where I think it's Vanity Fair do it, like breaking down a scene, and he's talking about camera angles and stuff. And like, there's no doubt that he, as a director, like has a really good eye. And like, as you say, it looks really good. Like it's like, I read, like the costumes are really good. Like they kind of, every character has a really good like color scheme that's really like kind of defines their character and stuff. But then you actually listen to the film and you listen to what they're talking about, and you have to sit through, like, I think it's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's so long. And then you get to this big bombastic ending where
I was gonna say, what did you think of the ending? Because basically
Stupid.
the ending is Helen doesn't have, and Blanc, they don't have any evidence, and because
because
Miles burned the envelope,
Yeah,
which
so
was basically the evidence.
this envelope is evidence that actually Helen's sister Andy was the originator of his company and had all these ideas.
Right.
And they had there's the backstory of this big trial in which all the friends testified against Andy,
Exactly.
even though they knew she was the one who actually came up with the idea, because Miles has been paying for all their lives and paying for Duke's YouTube channel and paying for, Catherine Hahn's presidency or her her governancy or whatever the word is. And
Exactly.
like paying off all of Birdie's crazy lawsuits and burying everything that she does. And yeah, she doesn't have the evidence anymore. So basically, Benoit Blanc he might as well just give her a hand grenade and be like, here you go.
Yeah, he gives her clear, right? That
He gives
kind
her
of like
clear,
that
yeah.
fuel
Clear
or whatever.
clear with a K.
Clear with a K.
Fuck off.
That's when the film lost me again. Like the film lost me.
Did it get you back?
Well, for a bit. Well, I did enjoy the pace, I guess. I didn't hate the film, because I thought it looked so good. And I think Janelle was incredible. I think she carried the film, like she did most of the work. But yeah, like that ending, I was like, oh no, why are we watching a James Bond film? Why is everything exploding? Why are there like explosions in that murder mystery?
Yeah, it didn't win. And again, like, I know you're probably, it's not a sequel to Knives Out, which actually probably makes it a little bit worse. It's not a sequel, like, so it's not trying to follow on. It's trying to be a similar, like, telling a Benoit Blanc story again. Why does it have to have this massive, explosive ending? In which, actually, the stupidest thing about it was, is if Claire was supposed to be as dangerous, they'd all be dead.
Yes.
I was thinking, I was like, oh, okay, they're all dead.
Yeah.
And then they're all alive.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Just let Blanc just sit there and smoke a cigar and explain it to the police with that weird stoner guy.
Right. I have a feeling that they were going for some sort of like rebellion. Like, you can only, I don't know, set justice with a bunch of explosions.
Like, it's as if they should like walk out of the building and like you hear that song from Les Mis, like, do you hear the, like an uprising, like triumphant. I just thought it was so stupid.
Simon, what did you think of the explosions in the end? Like how they burned, like how basically she burned out the glass onion?
I found it oddly satisfying.
Interesting, okay.
Because obviously
It was shot well. Just
the fact that the Elon Musk character,
Edward
Miles.
Norton,
Edward
Miles
Norton
Ron.
playing Miles, is a dickhead. And
which
it was-
Edward Norton's very good at, even though I'm sure he's a
really-
lovely person.
Yeah,
he's very
He's
good at
really
it.
good.
So it was nice so the film really gave him his comeuppance,
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, punch the air. She's really fucking him over by smashing all his ornaments and burning his prized possession painting.
Burning the Mona Lisa, yeah, we haven't mentioned that yet.
So like it gave me a bit of a reprieve, that ending.
Right.
Because I was basically watching the film because we had to watch it for this. Because I think halfway through I probably would have ducked out of it had I not been watching it for a reason.
Yeah.
There isn't
And mainly I couldn't get on board with. It's an amazing production. It's like a feat of ingenuity. All the work that's gone into it. But the voice that Daniel Craig does. When you put an audiobook on, I don't know if you guys are into audiobooks, and the voice isn't right, and you're just like really like, oh, can I get over this voice? I don't really like it. That's what Daniel Craig was like for me in Knives Out. And
I wonder if people are like that with this podcast. They like,
I know. Well,
they
it's
hate
true.
my Irish voice. They're like, every time the Irish
There's
guy
not a lot
speaks, I
you
just
can
can't, as soon as you get it in your ear, yeah.
So yeah, it's a sort of, it's 2-star from me. Two out of five.
Well, the reason it didn't, like the whole explosion thing didn't work for me was because it wasn't even what actually was meant to happen in a way. Like it wasn't the actual vehicle that led to the end. It was only meant as a storyline, like as an additional storyline for the disruptors to say, oh, now we see the truth. Now all of a sudden we're going to buck you up, Helen, and we're gonna, get that guy in like behind bars. Like 5 minutes ago, they were bucking him up. They mysteriously now can remember Miles at Andy's house. Like they mysteriously,
So that wasn't very well
It wasn't.
flowed.
It wasn't.
It was a bit too simplistic.
And I also think from the beginning, I would say, as soon as they arrived at the island in Greece, I was like, Edward Norton did it. I was like, I don't know what it is. I'm sure there'll be a twist, but Edward Norton did it.
Yeah.
Like there was no like, clearly he's going to turn out to be an arsehole. Like there was no like subtlety to it. That's what's great about Knives Out is that Chris Evans's character has this kind of like subtlety to him that you like, he really only becomes the evil dickhead in like the last 10, 15 minutes
I was
of the film.
pretty suspicious of him throughout.
I think you're suspicious of him,
didn't catch
but
me out.
like I think it's done and like it's a better written character maybe
Yeah.
because he just plays into the aggression and the being an arsehole, whereas like he's trying to be this Elon Musk style, like, man, we just chill on my Greek island and we smoke weed and we're all cool and hey, this is Chris just lives here, like that guy kind of wandering around all the time.
Yeah.
This stoner character that's just there.
I think what it lacked for me was I just didn't care about any of the characters very
exactly
much.
there's
And
no
without
connection
that,
to
you
any
can't
of them.
love it.
Many people said that about like how obvious the killer was. I think again what Johnson was trying to do in the end was he was like, oh, this guy is supposed to be this tech billionaire who's so smart. Actually, he's so dumb to go and do the killing himself and also then kill Duke for trying to blackmail him.
I mean,
I think that the stupid is that kind of irony, which again, I agree with you, it wasn't done well. They were trying to point out the stupidity of the
I don't
billionaires.
even think it's irony. I think everybody knows that like all these people who are super, super billionaires, even though they put across this cool, chill attitude, at some point has to be a ruthless arsehole. Like you don't get to these positions unless you are like
No, I was
kind
talking
of
about
cutthroat
like being
wise.
stupid as opposed to ruthless. As in
Well,
like you're
yeah.
not that smart, I guess.
Well, in this world, no one is as smart as Benoit Blanc, though.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. I will say I did like the very, very final shot of, Janelle Monáe almost giving like a Mona Lisa smile in the end. I thought that was cool. She was really good. I'm going to say like that's my main takeaway from the film. I really enjoyed her. And I think she had a lot of fun shooting this as well. So
I think the performances are good from some people, like Janelle Monáe and Daniel Craig has kind of made this Benoit Blanc character his, even if you don't really like the accent, if it is a bit off-putting. And Edward Norton, I think, is really good. Like he plays that character, that kind of arsehole character really well. Better than Birdman for an arsehole, but they're all just kind of poorly written. Like they all kind of feel like they're a bit kind of half-baked. Like, there could be a lot more to them than there is, like a lot more substance.
Claire and Lionel are really under,
and
written.
as you say, like not even just with the ending that they went like explosive and big. What Knives Out has going for it is that it is kind of like Cluedo. Like a lot of it just happens in the house, and it's all very like small set pieces, and you're not relying on like the visual. So like Glass Onion is probably really distracting in that it looks incredible. And it kind of just like the look maybe distracts a little bit from it because there isn't as much substance there.
Yeah.
Whereas Knives Out is smaller scale, but a much cleverer story and a much like a better, like as an Agatha Christie style thing, which is what he's clearly going for. Like he's going for like a modern Poirot, modern Hercules Poirot.
Hercule
Poirot.
I was actually thinking while I was watching it, I would actually rather be watching A Murder, She Wrote. Because I actually like the low production values and the kind of naffness of it. And in a way, that's what that probably could have benefited from.
I think so. Yeah, I think if you take take a 200 or 300 million off the budget, keep it low budget, it's probably better because you can't gloss over the problems with the script with like cameos from Ethan Hawke and Hugh Grant and big flashy set pieces in Greece and all these different things. Like you actually have to go,
But isn't
shit, the
that
story
what
has to
Marvel
be
is,
good.
though? Or Transformers or any of those superhero films. Like that to me is why I struggle with them, because they just like rely on huge production to make up for
but I think it's different.
tedious
I think
script.
but this is a tedious script that's trying to be a clever script. I don't think the Marvel films are trying to be anything other than what they are. This is trying to be like, I think Rian Johnson even says it himself. He's trying to build this like Agatha Christie style modern mystery. Like there'll probably be, I don't know if they've greenlit anything, but there'll be another Benoit Blanc film. It'll be called something else. It'll be another murder mystery. And they're
hopefully you can just be a nice British detective with a normal voice.
And then give him a big mustache like they did with Kenneth Branagh in The Orient Express. A big juicy mustache.
Right. So I think we solved the ending again.
Sorry, I tore that apart. I'm really sorry.
No, that's
you know
fine.
what, and do you know what? I think if anybody's listening and they did enjoy it, I'm all ears to like hear some defenses of it. I'd really like people to like, you know, we've had people send us voice notes before on some of my opinions. I'd love to know what people think.
Please share with us if you agree or disagree. We'd love to hear more. If you're planning on joining me on my 1 movie a day quest, please DM me on Instagram. I'm looking for recommendations. And if you're on January optimization mode, please subscribe to wherever you're listening to us and rate us, please. 5 stars, ideally. We got our first 4-star review, which was
really?
What did it say?
It says nothing.
Did you get the bot to write it?
No, it doesn't say anything, but like on Spotify now we're at like 4.9.
Oh my god!
A rating as opposed to we were at 5.
dropped.
So someone rated us less than 5. So be nice, please. If you're watching,
if you
you're
don't have
listening
something
this
nice
far.
to say, just don't say anything at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you don't have
Be
5
nice.
stars, just feck off.
just don't rate if you're not planning on giving us a 5-star.
Maybe it's a disgruntled listener that we didn't read their question or their comment.
Probably. Well, we will be back in 2 weeks, not next week, with Bridesmaids, the iconic comedy starring Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Maya Rudolph, and so many more. Till next time, Happy New Year again, and goodbye.
Oh, look, a message from our sponsor.
Did you like it? Did you like that?
Did I like it? I loved it.
I had no idea you could milk a cat.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
Good morning!
Morning. Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.